in the east. There's a mist coming in, like something is brewing. I'm about to begin. Can't put me finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen, all happened before. A father, a mother, a daughter, a son. The threads of their lives are all raveling undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as a string you might use when you're flying a kite. Chim chimney, chim chim, cherry chim cheroo.
Hurry up, Jane, let's run!
Come back, Miss Obligers, you've got to do your lessons!
I can't do my lessons if I'm flying a kite.
And you can't make us roll me on Nanny.
Why not you two again? Oi, come along home. Oi, come here.
Good morning, birds.
Morning, Miss Lark. And how's little Willoughby today?
Very well, thank you, birds. Willoughby?
By Jove. Is that the beauteous Miss Lark I spy on the horizon?
Oh, Admiral. Willoughby?
How's it looking, Emerald?
The dark clouds gather at number 17. The storm warning's overdue.
Of all London's byways where I doff my cap, this one's the hardest to find on a map. Cherry Tree Lane, as sweet as this song, but the nannies who come here, they don't stay for long. Chim chimney, chim chim, cherry chim cheroo.
Katie Nana! Katie Nana! Those little beasts have run away from me for the last time. And who gets stuck with the children with no nanny in the house? Me! That's who! I've said my say, Mrs. Prill, and that's all I'll say. I'm done with this house forever! Well, good riddance then, and mind you don't stumble on your way out! Katie Nana!
Katie Nana's gone, it isn't any wonder. Driven half demented by your children's pranks.
Do you really think I made another blunder? What on earth might you say to Mr. Banks? George, dear, I'm feeling so bereft, dear. Another nanny's left, dear. Every nanny goes, we're unlucky, I suppose.
We are never going to find a perfect nanny.
Nonsense! Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain, whilst I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Coat! The simple truth is that you've engaged 6 nannies in the last 4 months, and they've all been unqualified disasters. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a pedagogue who suffers no fool. A nanny's a stalwart our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane.
Of course, George.
So take control of situations. Show your authority when interviewing staff. You know your role. They know their stations. Efficiency and forethought cuts the jobs in half. Briefcase.
I thought Katie Nana would be firm with the children. She always looked so cross.
Never confuse efficiency with a liver complaint. Umbrella.
If only we could find someone like your old nanny.
I'm afraid that's not realistic, my dear. Few women alive could manage Miss Andrews' standards of efficiency. Besides, we can never afford someone of her caliber.
Precision and order, he wants nothing less. It's like an army barracks.
Yes, and we're in the mess.
No wonder the nannies are driven insane. We're living in a madhouse on Cherry Tree Lane.
Now, Winifred, if you do wish to please me.
You know I do, George.
Very well. Then place an advertisement in the Times stating that Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny. at the lowest possible wage.
We better give them ours before they make another mistake.
I would stress that.
Father, what's that you're holding, dear?
We've written our own advertisement.
Oh, what on earth, Winifred?
Please, George, I think we should hear it.
Now, Winifred, none of your theatrics.
It won't hurt to listen.
Wanted a nanny for 2 adorable children.
Adorable. Well, that's debatable, I must say.
If you want this choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts.
That's the part I put in.
Play games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and fairly
What are all
pretty.
ridiculous things?
Please, George.
Take us on outings, give us treats.
Sing songs, bring sweets. Never be cross or cruel. Never feed us castor oil or gruel. What?
Love us as a son and daughter.
And never smell of barley water. I put that bit in too.
If you won't scold and dominate us, we will never give you cause to hate us. We won't hide your spectacles so you can see.
Put toads in your bed or pepper in your tea.
Hurry, Nanny, many thanks.
Sincerely,
Jane.
and Michael Banks.
That is quite enough Tommy rot for one day. Will you please go upstairs and let me get to work?
They were only trying to help.
It won't help anyone if I'm late. Where's my hat? Hat!
George, dear. Hat! I thought you put it down here.
Hat!
I'm sure a bowl of rabbits
Do
is
you think they'll find a nanny who doesn't run away?
There it is.
He's brushed it with boot polish.
Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain.
Must I remain the sovereign? Mind you, use the day well.
You remain the sovereign.
I shall be home at 6 o'clock sharp.
He remains the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane.
Good morning.
Yes?
I've come in answer to an advertisement.
What advertisement? We have not placed one. Not yet.
George and Winifred Banks live here, do they not?
Miss and Mrs. Banks live here, correct?
And you are looking for a nanny?
Well, I suppose we are.
Very well then. Now let's see. It says here, play games all sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Michael, it's our advertisement.
Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. There's no objection on that score, I hope.
Oh, none at all.
I'm glad to hear it.
But take it up with Mrs. Banks. She manages all that sort of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. And don't forget the references.
I make it a rule never to give references.
But I thought it was usual.
A very old-fashioned idea to my mind. The best people never acquire them now.
I see. You will have every third Thursday evening off from 5 until 9.
The best people give every second Wednesday from 6 until late, ma'am, and that is what I shall take.
Well, I see. It's all settled then.
As long as I am satisfied. I'll see the children now, thank you.
Of course.
Come on,
You'll
Michael,
find
you
they're
can't
very
be
nice.
faster. I can run faster than you. No, you can't.
Now, this is...
Mary Poppins, Jane, don't stare, and Michael, close your mouth. We are not a codfish. Best foot forward, spit, spot.
Miss Brill, I believe we have a new nanny.
She passed to interview then.
Or I did.
Very tidy, I must say. Tidier than I was expecting. And who's responsible for that?
Mrs. Brill.
Me, I am. I like to keep things neat.
Do you indeed? Well, I look forward to making use of that. If there's one thing I appreciate, it's a child whose word I can depend on. Who's he when he's at home?
That's Valentine. He's mine.
From a look on his face, I'm not sure he'd agree with you.
He's just a doll, and I don't want to play with him
You
now.
treat him like that, and he might not want to play with you. Now, first things first, I always say the proper place to hang a hat is on a hat stand. Now, it is in here somewhere. I must start packing lighter. Ah.
There's nothing in it.
We better keep an eye on this one. She's tricky.
Mary Poppins, how could you know we wanted in a nanny when we made our list?
Your list? I'm not an item on the weekly shop, thank you very much.
Well, how'd you come then? It's as if the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now, stand over there. Just as I thought, a noisy, mischievous, troublesome little boy.
You're making that up. A noisy mischievous.
Now you. Thoughtless, short-tempered, and untidy.
I don't believe you. Let me see.
By the time the wind is blown, the weather vane around, I'll show you if I can. No matter what the circumstance, for one thing I'm renowned. My character is spit, spot, spick, and span.
What about your measurement, Mary Poppins?
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect.
So people say, each virtue virtually knows no bounds. Each trait is great and patently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Both prim and proper and never too stern. Well educated, yet willing to learn. I'm clean and honest, my manner refined. And I wear shoes of a sensible kind. I suffer no nonsense, and whilst I remain, there's nothing else I feel I need explain. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, that's my forte. Uncanny nannies hard to find. Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind. I'm practically perfect, not slightly soiled. Running like an engine that's just been freshly oiled. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Well, those are my credentials. Perhaps you have a few questions?
Not temperamental.
Never.
Not grouchy or
The
gruff.
very thought.
Will you stay tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you read stories without a big fuss?
Or have objections to playing with us?
Oh, I like games, but I choose them.
But that's not fair.
Some minor improvements may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We hope you'll stay.
Each virtue virtually knows no bounds. Each trait is great
And patently
patently
sound.
sound. Jane Spitspot. And I'll take my telescope, thank you.
But that's not fair.
I didn't say I was fair. I said I was practically perfect, and here's my aim. By the time I leave here, you both will be the same. You'll be
spectacularly perfect in every way.
Best foot forward, spit spot.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo. I does what I likes and I likes what I do. Today I'm a screever, and as you can see, a screever's an artist of highest degree. And it's all me own work from me own memory.
Oh, lummy. Not this again.
Come on, Mr. Parkkeeper, it's just me pictures like it always is. There's no harm in 'em.
I'll be the judge of that. This is my park, and I say you're interfering with the public railing. I want them removed this instant. Just, you watch it. That's all. Just you watch it.
Stay right where you are. I know that silhouette anywhere. Mary Poppins.
It's nice to see you, Bert.
Well, I must say, you do look swell.
How does he know you? He can't know you. You've only just arrived.
I wasn't born 1 minute before I walked into your house, Michael Banks. Have you met these two, Bert?
I've seen him running about chasing a kite.
It isn't a real kite.
So, what you up to?
Mary Poppins says it's a game. It's called a walk in the park.
Some game. I'd rather eat spinach.
Come on, Bert, you're due for a break, and you promised you'd take me out the next time we met, or have you forgotten?
Of course I ain't, Mary, but...
Oh dear, is that all you've got? Well, never mind. My treat. And no one's charging for the skies and the trees, are they?
Mary Poppins, is he really coming with us?
And why shouldn't he?
To start with, he's very dirty, isn't he? Father would never approve.
What's that?
You can't come with us. You're too dirty. And we don't want to go to the stinky park anyway.
Oh, yes, you do. Because when you walk with Mary Poppins, you go to places you never dreamed of. And if she says it's a game, it means she's got something in mind. You can be certain of that.
That's a picture of the park, isn't it?
That's not the park. Not our park, anyway. Look, that tree's a much brighter green. And the sky is quite a different blue.
I think you'll find it's just the way I've drawn it. All that it takes is a spark. Then something as plain as a park becomes a wonderland. All you have to do is look anew, then you'll understand why it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
Oh, really?
When the day is grey and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright.
Do talk nonsense,
Oh,
Bert.
happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the dove.
I haven't the faintest idea
When
what...
Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
You've enough brass for all of us.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. Come on, you two.
Boring, just like other nannies thinking parks are good for us. It's just statues, ducks, and grannies. I don't understand all the fuss.
Is she doing it to spite us?
We could lose her for a look.
Perhaps it's all a plot.
I'll tell you what, she seems so different, but I bet she's not. There is nothing to excite us in the park.
What was that?
You're quite wrong, you know.
Well, who are you?
I'm Nelius. Surely you know that. You sat beneath me often enough. I've waited half a century to take a long walk on a sunny day like this.
Ain't it a glorious day? Right as the morning in May.
I feel like I could fly.
Have you ever seen the grass so green or a bluer sky?
Bluer sky. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Better days I've never known.
You can ask the parsons not to worry.
Nothing's ever set
In stone.
Morning, Mary.
Morning, Constable.
You do look tip-top, if I may say so.
Thank you, Bert. And you may.
Each man out with his dog will stand agog to see our statue take a gentle jog. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we
It's
love.
a jolly holiday with you, Bert.
Really?
Gentlemen like you are few.
That's not sweet to say.
Though you're just a diamond in the rough, Bert. Underneath your blood is blue. You never think of pressing your advantage.
Well, I certainly hope not.
Forbearance is the hallmark of your creed. A lady needn't fear when you are near. Your sweet gentility is crystal clear.
It's crystal clear.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with you.
It's a jolly holiday,
A jolly, jolly holiday with you. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with
Wonder that
Mary.
it's Mary that
Wonder that it's Mary that we love. No wonder that it's Mary that we
Jane, did that really happen?
Yes? But how?
Mary Poppins, of course.
How do you know Mary Poppins?
She's an old friend of my father.
Your father? You're a statue. You can't have a father.
Well, if that's true, then why do I miss him so much?
Isn't he one of the other statues?
No, he lives far away from here.
Do you really miss him?
Wouldn't you miss your father if you hardly ever saw him?
I'll have to think about that.
That's it, that's what it was.
What was it?
Well, the plinth is half empty, the statue's gone.
Do you mean you've lost your marbles?
This is your fault, ain't it? I knew you should have trouble when you first arrived. Now I've got a statue What? Oh, lummy.
Will you play with us again?
Of course I will. I'm not going anywhere.
And we'll see you soon.
Goodbye, Nelius.
Goodbye.
Nelius must be so lonely. Could his father ever come to stay?
Well, anything can happen if you let it.
Well, how long will you stay?
We'll see.
You won't leave us, will you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay till the wind changes. Now run along in.
Good night, Michael. Good night, Jane. Good night, Mary.
Good night, Bert.
Jane and Michael want to say goodnight.
Tell them you've given me the message.
George, please.
Oh, Daddy, we've had a fantastic day. We sang with the busker, danced with the statue, and met Queen Victoria. You wouldn't have approved,
If
but...
you knew that, then why did you do it?
Daddy, could I have a kite? A proper one?
Could you fly it?
You could always teach me.
When would I have the time to do that?
Daddy, who was the father of Nelius?
Would you please let me get on? Good night.
Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites. And his beloved astronomy, of course.
I used to love astronomy at his age. But my nanny, Miss Andrew, soon beat it out of me.
I suppose we do need a nanny, George. Is it out of the question to do without one?
Don't be absurd. Of course we need a nanny. All the best people have nannies, so the wives can do charity work and entertain. Which reminds me, how is your tea party coming on?
I'm not sure. It just seems so odd to send invitations to people I hardly know.
But they're people you should know. Remember, by your friends shall ye be judged.
But that's the point. They're not my friends. Actually, I heard today from Clemmy Bunting. She's rehearsing a new play at the moment, and I thought I might ask
How
her...
many times must I tell you? I wish you to sever all connections with that part of your life.
George, I was an actress. Lots of people might find that interesting, though you always talk as if I should be ashamed of it.
Well, it's not something to be proud of, is it? Winifred, dearest, I'm only thinking of you. I want people to admire you, to respect you.
I know, George, but sometimes it's hard.
It is not hard. It is your job to be Mrs. Banks.
And what is your job?
To pay for everything.
Oh.
What is it?
I was only going to kiss you.
Oh, all right. Are you going to say something to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
I don't think so.
Very well. Just make sure she's doing things our way and not hers. What good are rules if you can bend them? We need a nanny who is disciplined and stern. With boys and girls, you don't befriend them. I fear that Mary Poppins has a lot to learn.
Being Mrs. Banks should be an easy role, and yet it's one which I don't seem too good at on the whole. I have a comfy home, I have a simple life, I have a name which tells the world I'm someone else's wife. Being Mrs. Banks, what does that entail? Facing tests of character, I always seem to fail. And as for his best people, well, I'd like to say no thanks. They're not exactly my idea of being Mrs. Banks.
I still feel as if I'm dreaming.
So much fun in just one day. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
I'm sure Nelius is beaming.
Let's hope she will stay.
Good night, Nelius.
Let's hope she will
Precision and order.
Winds do change, tides can turn, sink or swim, see what you learn. Me I was told when I was small, just learn a trade, so I learned them all. Chim chimney, chim chim cherry.
Morning, Bert. Bob on the deck today, I see.
Gotta keep the street ship shape, Admiral.
Tell me, how are things aboard number 17? All playing sailing with Mary Poppins, I trust?
There's some rough weather on every voyage, Admiral.
Ah, Miss Lark. What those children need is a touch of a cat and a night on the yard arm.
What those children need, Admiral, is a touch of happiness. Willoughby.
Miss Brill, don't make the sandwiches too early. They'll get stale before the guests arrive.
Everything's under control, ma'am.
And what about the cake?
Cooling on the tray, waiting to be iced.
And you're quite sure you know how to ice it?
Quite sure. And in case you're worried, I have not yet been exchanged by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
No. Well, I'll just go upstairs and check the drawing room.
Well, I like to be helpful.
And I'd like to be rich, but the good Lord thought otherwise.
Papa wants you in the drawing room.
Well, she can't have me. I have enough on my plate as it is already.
She says you can tell Roberts and I what to do.
Does she indeed? Well, why don't I go and have a smoke near the gasworks for good measure?
Well, I don't mind, Miss Brill, honestly.
All right. I'll give you one task and one task only. And so help me, if you get this wrong, I'll swing for you and sing as they pull the lever.
Oh, what is it, Miss Brill?
Put the icing tools next to the cake. I'll need a bowl of hot water to warm them. I will make the icing as soon as I get back.
So, icing tools, cake, hot water. I'll make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Now, do you think you can manage that?
What's that all?
For you? Yes. For me? No. Once the cake's done, I have the sandwiches next, because Madam wants them fresh. So I can't start them until there's no time to finish them. I swear, a slave in ancient Rome was on a pleasure cruise compared to my life in this house.
Well, don't just stand there, Roberts and I.
Right, no.
What are you looking for?
What, a bowl for the water?
Michael? Why don't we make the icing?
Because we don't know how.
Don't be so feeble. Get the eggs. If Mrs. Brill can do it, it can't be that hard.
Are there eggs in icing?
There are in mine.
Well, I don't beg Miss Brill, thank you.
Then she will be guilty of great ingratitude.
Is it supposed to look like this?
Well, it doesn't look like that Miss Brill makes it.
Don't be impertinent and get me the cake.
Oh, honestly, Miss Jane, I was only trying to be helpful. Now, if you would please... Oh! Oh! Oh!
Yeah! Miss Brill, go up and get ready now. Oh, my goodness! What have you done? Roberts and I! Oh, dear. Should I call the doctor? Oh, goodness. Oh, dear. No. How can you be so unkind when you know how important my party is? You deserve some very nasty medicine. Just you two wait till bedtime.
Don't think we should wait till then, ma'am? Why not go up and get changed? We'll clear up, won't we?
But we're not ill. I won't take it, and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty. Open?
But it's strawberry ice.
Now you.
I'm not sure I like strawberry ice.
I'm not sure I care. Open?
I'm cordial.
Now off we go, you two. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane?
I told you she was tricky.
Must we? Can Roberts and I do when he wakes up? He is a servant.
With that attitude, you'll go through a lot of stuff before you're very old. Besides, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game, and every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. A lark, a spree, it's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. The honey bees that fetch the nectar from the flower to the comb never tire of ever buzzing to and fro, because they take a little nip from every flower that they sip, and hence they find their task is not a grind. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. Pots and pans, plates. Michael, is that how you usually do it? Rum punch, my favorite.
Mary Poppins, you're a miracle worker. How did you get them to do it?
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine?
Go down. The medicine
go down.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
In the most delightful way.
So, just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine go down?
Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
In the most delightful way.
In the most delightful way.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
In the most delightful way.
In the most delightful way.
Now we'll be off, ma'am. Best foot forward, children. I'm sorry, ma'am. Apparently these came this morning, and Roberts and I forgot to give them to you. They're apologies, ma'am, from your guests. They're not coming, none of them.
Do you think we chose the wrong day?
I think you chose the wrong people.
In a most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, where are we going today?
Oh, I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree?
If he did, you must have put the idea into his head somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say. Me, putting ideas into other people's heads. Really.
Precision and order, cogs in a wheel, opening a ledger, closing a deal, prudent investments, financial sense, our perfect ray of sunshine, pounds, shillings, and pence.
Good morning. Great men have dreams of power and position, and it's our job to back them to the hilt. For shrewd investment and advice, they'll pay our price. The bedrock on which banks are built. Banks a word. I see Avon Hustlers coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Good. Be sure it's the right one.
Every transaction, credit or debt, sheets are on the balance, targets are met.
Hey, Banks, what objections can you have? My security is more than adequate, and Latin America is an expanding market. What is the matter? Have you no courage?
But, Mr. Von Hustler, what I can't grasp is, what is your final product?
What do you think? Money, of course.
Yes, money, but making money out of money. Is that enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker? A man has dreams of building an empire to make his name in many distant lands. And in the new world, I am told, we'll soon strike gold. Let's seize our chance with both our hands.
Assessing the market, limit the risk, little room for error. Business is brisk.
Have you come to your decision, Mr. Banks? There's a town of good people whose future depends on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance, you won't regret it. The factory could be running in weeks and expanding before the year ends. Please, Mr. Banks, I give it everything I've got. Believe in me.
I do believe you, Mr. Northbrook. And I've tried to find a way, but there is just not the collateral.
What about my workforce? Decent men who want a better life. My men have dreams to earn an honest living, a wife and kids, a home to call their own. If you'd invest in us today, it paves the way. I promise we'd repay the loan.
I'm sorry, Miss Northbrook, but I'm just afraid.
Hello, Daddy.
What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
No, we're done here. And no man should be too busy for his own children. What have you come for, young man? Have you come for some money as well?
Hardly. What would they need it for?
It's never too early to learn its value.
I know the value of this. 6pence.
No, that's its worth. Its value is in how you spend it. May you do good and have good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
What is the meaning of this? Really, Mary Poppins, I am not without a sense of humor.
Aren't you, Daddy?
No, I am not. But when I was a little boy, I would never have dared interrupt my father.
Were you ever a little boy?
Of course I was. But my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me out of my father's way, and he'd have been very annoyed if she had not.
What about your mother?
I should not think I saw either one of them more than once a week.
But didn't they mind?
Mind? They were glad to be rid of me.
But then, who kissed you goodnight? Miss Andrew?
Oh, certainly not. There was no time for hugs and kisses and all that soppy nonsense. What's the matter?
Poor Daddy.
Poor? What do you mean, poor? That's what made me the man I am. Eh, Mary Poppins?
Yes, I'm afraid it did.
That's enough. You've seen where I work, and I have a great deal to do.
When you invest the bank's money, what are you looking for, Daddy? A good man or a good idea?
I suppose I should say a good idea. But a good man is much rarer, and much more valuable.
Come along, children.
Mr. Von Hustler, I've considered your arguments, but my answer is no.
So, you don't recognize a good idea?
Maybe not, but I recognize a good man.
You will regret this here, bunks!
A man has dreams that life hasn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. Now, Mr. Northbrook, when could the factory open?
Thank you, Mr. Banks. You won't regret it.
The birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
There's that horrible old woman.
Don't point. And for your information, she is not in the least horrible.
But she's just a bundle of rags.
When will you learn to look past what you see?
Early each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way to the people she calls. Come, buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care, and she'll be glad if you do. Their young ones are hungry, their nests are so bare, all it takes is tuppence from you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Feed the birds, that's what she cries
a matter of opinion. Here, one bag, please. Save your sixpence. All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can't see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that he cares. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
All gone.
Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Now come along, I can't stand here all day talking shop.
Talking shop? What a silly expression.
There's nothing silly about it in the least.
What do you buy in a talking shop?
Conversations, of course.
Well, I've never seen a talking shop.
Well, there is only one, and it belongs to Mrs. Corey.
Who's Mrs. Corey?
Who's Mrs. Corey? Mrs. Corey is older than anyone in the world. She talked to William before he went conquering, to Vlad before he went impaling, and to Alexander when he went so great.
We'll have to call in a shop in the park.
There is no shop in the park.
Anything can happen if you let it.
That's it. I'm all out of conversations.
Good day to you, Mrs. Corey.
Well, well, well. If it isn't Mary Poppins with Jane and Michael Banks.
She knows us?
And how is poor little Georgie?
Who?
Georgie Banks, your father. He used to come into my shop all the time in secret.
But it can't have been the same George Banks. That would have been 40 years ago, and no one can remember back that far.
Listen, dearie, I remember everything. I remember Georgie used to love my gingerbread. I wonder if you have any left today. Annie, Fanny, look lively.
Yes, Mother.
There you have it. Gingerbread pieces with gingerbread stars. Georgie used to always save his stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you?
Well, I did want an ounce of conversations.
I'm all out of conversations, and right out of words, too. You see, I've had a lot of chatterboxes in here today, but we'll see what we have left. Oh, I do have some letters and a little bit of back chat. An ounce, you say? That'll be 15 letters. Go on, take your pick.
Jane, you choose 7.
I've got a G, E, T, A, S, L, and U.
They're no good. You can't make a conversation out of them.
Your turn, Michael. 7 more.
F, O, R, D, I, P, and C.
And I'll choose X. Now, what words can we make?
Well, I see dog and cat.
Rotaplex. That's 9.
Lapitoferis, that's 11. Nearly there.
Those don't count. You've made them up.
And where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody had to make them up.
You know, we can always use the same letters more than once. Now let me see. Super. Caliph. Ragil. Istic. Expi. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's not a word. Of course it's a word. Unless I'm very much mistaken, I think it's going to prove a rather useful one. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to leaf through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation keen. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It can mean exactly what you want it to. When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though if they'd heard this word, they might have used it once or twice.
I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say it and wild animals will not seem so ferocious.
Add some further flourishes and sorococococious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-diddle-diddle-dum-diddle-lie, 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 diddle-diddle-diddle-dum-diddle-lie. The Druids could have called it on their mighty monoliths.
The ancient Greeks, I'm certain, would have used it in their myths.
I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
If you say it softly, the effect can be hypnosis.
Check your breath before you speak in case it's halitosis. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-diddle-diddle-dum-diddle-lie, 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 diddle-diddle-diddle-dum-diddle-lie.
You know, you can say it backwards, which is Su Icadilipixecatiligarphidicrevus.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants and 16 vowels as well, and put them in an order which is very hard to spell.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Smarty pants. Here we go! Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud, always up it goes. The winds may blow, but who's to know exactly what it's bringing? Good news or bad, happy or sad, the pendulum keeps swinging.
right. Put the steps there and stand back. Back. You are never to go near this vase, nor no one else but me neither. This is an heirloom.
Heirloom?
While I do this, stay totally immobile.
Immobile?
Do not move a muscle.
Muscle?
Do not even breathe. Do you hear me?
What must be done, Miss Brill?
Don't give me any ideas.
A game is played, a change is made, but still the road is long. And though they might yet fly a kite, sometimes the wind's too strong.
George, what happened? Are you ill?
No, should I be?
Of course not. Only, why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No, everything's all wrong.
My dear, what is it?
If you must know, I refused some German chap a loan. He went to our chief rivals. They gave him the money. It's turned into a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time.
Can't they? That's exactly what they expect.
Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud
That is
enough,
more than loud enough!
but we were just...
I don't care what you adjust upstairs now. Where's my briefcase? I put it here. Michael? Jane? Will you give it to me? Why must I put up with this behavior? You're the mother! Can't you do something?
Well, I can try not shouting for us.
Mary Poppins, you are here to teach the children their manners, and just look at them. They are a pair of savages. If I had my way, you'd be out of the house by now.
George, you're tired. Mary Poppins, don't bring the children down tonight. Mr. Banks is quite exhausted. Perhaps you can keep them occupied.
Oh, I hope you haven't forgotten, ma'am, but tonight's my evening out.
What? Oh dear, I had forgotten. I suppose the best people wouldn't ask you to change your plans?
No, ma'am, they wouldn't.
I thought not.
That's not fair. Daddy loses his temper and we're shut up in the nursery. Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him!
Jane, take that back this instant. I will not have you criticize your father.
Why not? He criticizes you. Last week he said you were neither use nor ornament.
How dare you?
I heard him say it, and so did you.
Sometimes people say things they don't mean. Take the children upstairs, please, Mary Poppins. George?
What is it?
I thought you might like to talk about it.
What would be the point?
Perhaps I can help.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm serious, George. If you have troubles, I'd like to share them.
Don't worry, you will. The fact is, I have been suspended without salary until they decide what to do with me.
Twists and turns, ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. But bad-tempered faces had better change quick, 'cause if the wind changes, the face might just stick. Chim chimney, chim chim, cherry chim cheroo.
It's not fair. You're going out to be left on our own.
Well, you have plenty of toys to play with.
I don't want to, they're boring.
They might say the same about you.
Why does Daddy get so cross?
Fathers are supposed to look after the children, not yell at them all the time.
Maybe, but have you ever asked yourself who looks after the fathers when things go wrong?
The mothers, I suppose.
Not the children.
Wouldn't that be rather upside down?
Sometimes families are upside down. For a while, anyways.
I don't want to be an upside-down family. I wish I could run away.
Well, why don't you? Somebody might adopt you.
But you'd miss me.
No, I wouldn't. I could have your toys.
No, you could not.
Oh, yes, I could, and I jolly well would.
Give that to me. Now look what you've done.
That's no way to treat Valentine. What's he ever done to you?
Nothing. He's a doll, silly. He couldn't do anything.
Now that's all, you two. Into bed, both of you, at once.
But we haven't had our milk.
There'll be no buts and no milk either. If you can't be good, you may as well be sorry.
I wish you just leave us alone.
Be careful of the things you wish for.
Well, I won't go to sleep, and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things,
Your information
is faulty. Is that you, Bert?
Up where the smoke is all billowed and curled, tween pavement and stores is the chimney sweep's world, where there's hardly no day, no hardly no night. The sings half in shadows and halfways in light. On the rooftops of London. Coo, what a sight!
Oh, so you're asleep now, are you?
The best view in the world, eh? And who gets to see it? The birds, the stars, and the chimney sweeps. Nothing to beat it, eh? Now as a ladder of life has been strung, you may think a sweep's on the bottommost rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke, in this all wide world there's no happier bloke. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry, a sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry.
Good luck will rub off when he shakes hands with you.
Or blow me a kiss,
Bert?
and that's lucky too. Oh, are you going then?
The wind has changed.
But they're good kids, Mary.
Would I be bothering with them if they weren't? But I can't help them if they won't let me, and there's no one so hard to teach as a child who knows everything.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. When you're with us, sweep, you're in glad company. Chim 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 cherry. When you're with us, sweep, you're in glad company. Nowhere is there a more happier crew than them what sings chim chim cherry chim cheroo. Chim chimney, chim chim cherry chim cheroo.
Cheerio, Bert. Keep an eye on them for me.
Morning, Emerald.
Lovely weather.
Miss Brill, is the nursery tidy?
As tidy as I can make it, ma'am.
If you knew how hard it was to track her down.
Really, ma'am? Fancy that! They get through nannies for a flippin' pastime. Now when one returns, they make this fearful fuss. Never liked her much when she was here the last time.
This she makes life easier for the both of us.
Mrs. Brill, it is her, isn't it?
Well, I don't know who else.
Why is it a secret? Do trees return to get things back the way they were.
The note said till we meet again.
I just know it must be her.
Oh my goodness, she'll be here any moment. Now, where is George? George, dear, you're going to be surprised.
You know I hate surprises.
Not this one. Oh, George, I do believe you're going to be very proud of me for once. Precision and order, it's perfectly true. Can really make a difference. I found her for you. Clear thinking, sound judgment, and now we'll regain a home you can be proud of in Cherry Tree Lane. Hurry up, everybody, into the hall. I want her to find everything spit, spot, spick, and span.
Spick and span.
Our sense of excitement is hard to contain.
Order is returning.
Wonder is returning.
Someone is returning to Cherry Tree.
Good morning.
The Holy Terror!
Miss Andrew, it is so lovely to meet you at last. I do hope you had a good journey.
It was thoroughly unpleasant. I never enjoy travel. You must be poor George's wife. Your flower beds are disgracefully untidy. Take my advice, plant evergreens. Or, better still, have nothing there at all, just a plain cement courtyard.
But dear Miss Andrew, I am so fond of flowers.
Then you are a very silly woman. Where did George go?
I'm afraid he had an urgent appointment.
For which no doubt he is as late as usual. It's not much of a house, is it?
We like it.
Then it doesn't take you a lot to keep you happy. Look at the dust. There, oh! And there, oh! Filth.
Well, we are rather short-staffed at the moment.
Hasn't anyone ever cleaned this parlor? Oh, now just a minute! Ah! You must be the children. Pity. I don't suppose you know who I am.
Yes, we do. You're the Holy Terror.
Impudent boy! You're Jane, I suppose. Weren't you wearing stockings?
I don't like them.
What? What manners? I can see there is not a moment to lose. These children have been spoiled. I've arrived here just in time. By chance I brought the punishment that best befits the crime. Brimstone and treacle and cod liver oil, liberal doses of each. These are the truths from which children recoil, the lessons I'm going to teach. Just follow my model and don't naughty coddle. It may lead the irksome to irk. So seek satisfaction from punitive action. Brimstone and treacle will work.
Oh, does it taste as bad as it smells?
Worse.
Do I have to?
Open! Brimstone and treacle and carbolic stew. These are the tools of my trade. With spoonfuls of sugar, don't have a hope of seeing that changes are made. Where manners are chronic, my tincture's the tonic that's certain to wipe off a smirk. So pour out a ration in matronly fashion. Brimstone and treacle will work. Your son will go to boarding school at once. As for the girl, I shall take charge of her myself. I won't Brimstone and shriek.
She can't stay. They'll have to dismiss her. You know, I'm disappointed. Truly I am. I thought it was going to be, you know... her with the umbrella. Yeah.
What are we going to do? The only thing we can do. Run away.
Ow! Ah! Easy now. Your friend ain't gonna hurt you.
Oh, but it's you. You're filthy.
Perhaps you smudge it too. It so happens today I'm a chimney sweep. Now, what's the matter? And who's after you?
The nastiest nanny in the world.
The nastiest nanny in the world, eh? Well, you two should know you've been through enough of them. Is she really as bad as all that?
She looks like something that would eat its young.
Miss Andrew is Daddy's nanny.
Which explains a lot.
Poor Daddy. Ever since he stopped working, he just sits and mopes. Mary Poppins would say that he needed our help, but now it's too late.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'll tell you what. Why don't we start things off with a bit of a shake for good luck?
Why would shaking hands with you bring us luck?
Didn't anyone ever tell you it was likely to shake a sweep's hand?
But what do you do if you want some luck?
Well, I'll shake hands with myself. Now, what do we have here?
Michael, look, it's a real one. What's the matter? You've always wanted to fly a proper kite.
I've always wanted to fly one with Daddy.
Of course you have, but you need to know how it's done. Get some training in, and you'll make him the proudest father in the country.
Do you really think so? You're not just saying that?
Did I say the country? The whole blooming empire, more like. With tuppence for paper and string, you can have your own set of wings. With your feet on the ground, you're a bird in flight with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite in sandy soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite.
Wow.
This is amazing.
You're doing great.
What's this? What's this? We don't allow litter here.
It isn't litter, it's a kite.
Oh, a kite, is it? My word, it is. I haven't flown a kite since I was a boy. Now I'll wind her up, give her a run, and away she'll go.
I want to do it.
But you let me help a little, won't you? Seeing as I haven't flown a kite since I was a boy.
Oh, all right.
When you send it flying up there, all at once you're lighter than air. You can dance on the breeze over houses and trees with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite. Reel it in.
I can't. It's stuck.
Oh, help, let me.
Here. To
come back.
Don't squeeze, I'm not a sardine in a tin. And where are your coats?
Didn't have time to put them on.
And why not, may I ask?
Because we've run away.
Oh, have you indeed?
It's been so awful since you went away. Now Miss Andrews come and Daddy's ruined. And we never helped him like you want us to because we were too stupid to hear what you were saying.
Oh, my eye, but your life is a tragedy. Now let's go home and don't dawdle.
But she's there. She came this morning as a surprise for Daddy.
Did she? Well, maybe I'll have a surprise for her. That was a lovely greeting, Bird.
I meant it, Mary. Welcome. You're a sight for sore eyes.
You really are. Welcome back, Mary Poppins.
I told you they was good kids, Mary.
And I told you they were worth bothering with. Now let's go on.
Yeah, it's against the
If
regulations.
I were a park keeper, I should button my coat and straighten my cap. Come along, children.
Aren't you going to shake hands with Bert for good luck?
No.
Why not? We have.
I don't need any luck, thank you.
Oi.
Woohoo!
Illusions may shatter, but memories stay. The things that really matter, I lost on the way. The sovereign, the master, and long may he reign. The famous good for nothing of Cherry Tree Lane.
On the way home in no time, ma'am. Let's face it, they've had enough practice.
But this time they're not being naughty. I'm afraid I've made them unhappy. I'm afraid I've made everyone unhappy.
Don't worry, ma'am. They'll turn up.
George, dear, I know it hurts your pride, dear. But you can't just run and hide, dear. Why can't you see that I'm here? And I am by your side. Whenever you spoke of Miss Andrew, you showered the woman with praise. But now that I've met dear Miss Andrew, there are one or two things I'd rephrase. To think you were raised by that monster and carried that burden through life. If only you could see that you could share it with your wife. Being Mrs. Banks, it's easy to forget the way I felt that summer's day, the day that we first met. Being Mrs. Banks, being kissed by you, a man of dreams who made me feel as wishes could come true. And now, although you're lost, it's time that we close ranks. I'll fight for the man who needs freeing, the real you who no one is seeing. And you'll find a way of just being Mr.
Perhaps she's killed everyone. Perhaps they're all dead.
Not like that, you stupid boy!
They're not all dead. What's that noise?
A bird. I might have known. Did she? Well, frankly, that's not a surprise. Locked in its cage and not free in the skies. For 2 years. How shameful. Yes, of course, that's a field I know well. An hour no longer, your wings will go stronger. Once you are free from this cell.
What kind of bird is it?
A lark. You are seeing a lark in its cage for the first time and the last. My pleasure. Oh, don't mention it.
I'm going downstairs to fetch Caruso, my lark. You stay there and clean the grate again. So you decided to come crawling back now, have you? Well, I think we know what's needed now. Brimstone and treacle, my favorite liquor, that will make runaway stop. Impudent children respond so much quicker when forced to drink every last drop.
Is this what you're looking for?
Who are you?
I'm Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins? But you left without notice.
And I've come back without notice.
I see. And what do you expect me to do?
Pack.
Pack! You insolent young person! How dare you speak to me in this way? The little girl with your newfangled methods. I bring up children so they know their place. Standing for tradition, I govern my charges.
Mishandled charges blow up in your face.
I brought up their father.
Well, that I don't doubt. You must be so proud of the way he turned out.
A shining example, a pillar,
a post. They all have their problems, but him more than most.
Caruso! Where is my luck? Caruso! You let my little lark out of his cage. Now you will bear the full brunt of my rage. Ah! Brimstone and treacle for you. Brimstone and treacle
Just
for
a
you.
spoonful of sugar.
Brimstone and treacle
Just
for
a
you.
spoonful of sugar.
Brimstone and treacle
Just a
for you.
spoonful of sugar.
She came from up...
Michael?
Michael, Jane, is that you? Oh, thank heaven. But you're very naughty for running off like that, and I should be angry as anything if I weren't so pleased to see you. Where's Miss Andrew?
Oh, she's gone.
Gone? Why?
No, she didn't give a reason, ma'am.
How peculiar. So, Mary Poppins, if you're back, does that mean you're going to stay?
Oh, I'll stay for as long as necessary, ma'am.
Because the last time you were here, you left without a word of warning. How do I know you won't do it again?
Oh, you don't.
Oh.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Constable, I'm so sorry I bothered you, but it's quite all right. They're back,
Not
and...
all of them, ma'am.
What?
We found this one wandering in the park. Good night, ma'am.
George?
Where is she?
Miss Andrew, she left.
Left? But how?
She might have thought we were rude.
Rude. To Miss Andrew. Well, I can't forgive it. But I'll try to forget. In fact, I'd have given you 6 pence if I had one.
George, you haven't noticed. Mary Poppins is back.
Mary Poppins. Well, well, I wonder if we might have a word?
Mm-hmm.
There's no point in beating about the bush. Things have not gone well for us since you left us, and I was simply wondering...
About my wages, sir. If you don't mind, I won't take them just now. I should prefer to let them accrue.
But Mary Poppins, if only you knew how many payments are accruing as it is.
Is everything settled?
It is. Now I must get started. Jane, Michael, Spitspot.
Come along, darling. You made a wrong decision, but how bad is that? After so many years of good service, what's the worst that can happen?
Winifred, if I am to be dismissed, we'll be destitute. The servants will leave, the house will be repossessed, and we'll be sitting on the frosty curbside with the children.
Well, we'll still have what really matters. The children, and each other.
Is that locket new?
And if it is?
What's inside it?
A portrait.
Whose?
You'll know when the time comes and not before.
You won't leave this time, will you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay till the chain breaks.
What chain? Where?
Oh, Michael, you must be careful. The room's a bit excited to see me back. Oh, and you never know what might happen around a fireplace.
Ah, Mary Poppins, help! Mary Poppins!
Michael, come down, Mary Poppins!
Hello there.
Hello.
Bert, what are you doing up here?
And where else should a chimney sweep be? A chimney swept, a secret kept, up there above the gables. Another world to be unfurled, it ain't just myths and fables. A chimney stack looks cold and black against the twilight sky. But never fear, there's warmth up here, perhaps you'll find out why.
Oh, what do I look like? Oh, dear. That's better?
The world is awfully big, isn't it?
And what does that tell you?
That we are awfully small and unimportant.
Oh, speak for yourself.
Not us so much, but our troubles. They seem so big down in nursery. But up here...
That's more like it. Troubles are never so bad when you look at them from a little higher up. And always remember, there's plenty of folk ready to help you should you need them.
Who?
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. Now guardian angels you don't often see. They're not highfalutin, nor grand nor aloof. No, they're covered in soot and they're up on your roof.
Chim chimney, chim chim cherry.
See? It's true.
Brush away the dirt and soot.
Brush away your tears. Cobwebs aren't swept away.
Hang around for years.
all weathers up all hours. We can see for miles. Our idea of heaven is a night out on the towers. We may look a motley crew, smudged with tar and grime. But when we need a helping hand, we try to step in, just in time.
We will step in
time.
We will step in
time.
Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. We will step in
time.
Over the rooftops,
step in time.
Over the rooftops,
step in time.
Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Over the rooftop, step in time.
Watch we step, but step in time. Watch we step, but step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Watch we step, but step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Kick your knees up, step in time.
Childhood is a step in time, parenthood's the same.
Never miss a chance to get it right.
Woo!
Don't it seem a perfect lie? Don't it seem a shame?
When the steps aren't going as smoothly as they might.
That's we step in time. That's we step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Watch we step in time.
Oi!
Ooh, all right.
Come on! Now you!
Just remember when you're low, feeling in the woods.
Someone's up your chimney.
And it isn't Santa Claus.
If you need us, if you don't, doesn't make much odds. We'll be watching over you. Brushes, brooms, brushes, brooms.
And rods.
Link your elbows, step in time. Link your elbows, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Link your elbows, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Kick your knees up, step in time. Oh, step in time. Step in time. Step in time. Step. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. If you kick your knees up, kick your knees up, kick your knees up, kick your knees up. Step. Never need a reason, step in time.
Come on, Sweet. We can do better. Come on. Come on now. Hey. Come on now. Get it up.
What you gonna do?
Step in time.
Shout it out louder.
Step in time.
Thanks, Esquire.
Special delivery?
Special deliveries every time. Special deliveries every time. No need reason, no need rhyme. Special deliveries every time.
Time to go now. Good night, Governor.
Good night, Governor, step in time. Good night, Governor, step in time. No need reason, no need rhyme. Good night, Governor, step in time.
Good night, Governor. Cheerio, Governor.
Not so fast. Upstairs now. Jane, you too. Mary Poppins, would you be good enough to explain?
First of all, I would like to make one thing clear.
Yes.
I never explain anything. Come along, children.
It's happened. The chairman wants to see me at the close of business tonight.
Tonight? Well, I'm going with you and jolly well give your chairman a piece of
That
my
will only
mind.
make matters worse.
Are you sure?
Quite sure. So we better make some plans. In fact, I'm afraid the time has come.
Do you mean your mother's face? Won't you miss it terribly?
Needs must, my dear. Besides, we always said we were saving it for a rainy day.
George, do be careful.
The heirloom!
Miss Sprill, let's go to the kitchen, shall we? You'd better sit down.
Bill, is that the dinner cooking?
Don't you start. I've opened all the windows.
I was just going to say it smells delicious.
The whole world has gone upside down. What?
Well, I never. So that's where I put them.
What are they?
Stars. Gingerbread stars I once hid from my nanny. I always knew I'd put them somewhere where no one would find them. Trouble was, I couldn't find them either.
They're very bright.
Aren't they? Even after all this time.
Here, let me give you a hand.
You know, I used to think that when I grow up, I'd learn everything that there was to know about the stars. Funny, I haven't thought about all that in years. I'm not usually sentimental.
It's good to look back sometimes.
Is it, Bert? I'm not so sure. A man has dreams of walking with giants to carve his niche in the edifice of time. Before the mortar of his zeal has the chance to congeal. The cup is dashed from his lips, the flame is snuffed a burning. He's brought to wreck and ruin in his prime.
Life's a rum go, Governor, and that's the truth.
You know what I think? It's Mary Poppins. From the moment she stepped into this house, things began to happen to me. My world was calm, well-ordered, exemplary. Then came this person with chaos in her wake. And now my life's ambitions go with one fell blow. It's quite the bitter pill to take. It's Mary Poppins. She's responsible for all of this.
I know the very person. What's that thing she's always saying? A spoonful of sugar, that is all it takes. It changes bread and water into tea and cakes. A spoonful of sugar goes a long, long way. So have yourself an healthy helping every day.
A healthy helping of trouble, if you ask me.
Like you say, Governor, you've got to grind, grind, grind at the grindstone. Though childhood slips like sand through a sieve, and all too soon they've up and grown, and then they've flown. And it's too late for you to give just that spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Well, good luck, Governor.
Thank you, Bert. Good luck to you too. What is it?
We've come to say goodnight.
Ah, yes. Good night.
Daddy, do you remember when we came to the bank?
Yes.
Well, we were each given a sixpence and we were told to spend them carefully.
Excellent advice. Exactly what you should do. Now, what did you spend with them?
Nothing yet. We've kept them and now we've decided to give them to you.
I suppose Mary Poppins put you up to this.
No, she hasn't said a word about it, but we know it's been difficult lately and we haven't really been much help.
So, we thought a bit of extra cash might loosen things up a little.
It is a whole shilling.
Thank you.
Good night, Daddy. We do love you, you know.
Jane, do you remember you once asked me who Neelius's father was?
Yes?
It's Poseidon, king of the sea. Good night.
Mummy, Daddy's really worried, isn't he?
Yes, he is. But always remember that he loves you very much. And that's far more important than jobs or houses or anything else.
Are you going to the bank with him?
I'd wish he'd let me, but he won't. If only there was someone to stand up for him, to take his part, to show them what he's really like inside.
Why can't he do that for himself?
Because he's a man, and a very proud one.
Then you must go.
I'd like to, but I'm afraid it just isn't possible.
Why?
Because I'm a woman.
Mary Poppins says that anything is possible if we can only get out of our own way.
Do you really believe that, Mary Poppins?
Anything can happen if you let it. Sometimes things are difficult, but you can bet it doesn't have to be so.
Changes can be made.
You can move a mountain if you use a larger spade.
Anything can happen, it's a marvel.
You can be a butterfly
or just a novel.
Stretch your mind beyond fantastic. Dreams are made of strong elastic.
Take some sound advice and don't forget it.
Anything can happen if you let it.
I wonder.
Anything can happen if you let it.
You won't know a challenge until you've met it.
No one does it for you.
No one but yourself. Vacillating violets get left upon the shelf. Anything can happen, just imagine.
That should be my epitaph. I wear the badge in honor of this world's free thinkers.
Those who see beyond their blinkers.
Jelly isn't jelly till you set it. Anything can happen if you let it.
If you reach for the stars, all you get are the stars. But we've found a whole new spin. If you reach for the heavens, you get the stars thrown in. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Feed the birds, sir. Only tuppence a bag.
I would take it as a great favor if you fed them for me.
Tuppence, tuppence,
everyone's debts, risking our investments, hedging our bets.
Mr. Banks is here. Come in, Banks.
Trading in futures, jobs on the line.
Well, Banks, why'd you do it? You turned down a scheme that was bound to make us millions. We want to know why.
Then I'll tell you why. I refused Von Hustler because his scheme was hollow. It had no product, no substance. Oh yes, he told me about products and assets and growth, but there wasn't a word about people. I know that if a man puts any value on real life, then as far as you're concerned, he is a washout. But I myself value it, gentlemen. In short, George Banks, Esquire, has rediscovered the human race. I apologize for ruining the bank, but I do not apologize for understanding that there are more important things in life than making money.
Ruining the bank? Dear chap, what are you talking about? You've saved our bacon. Well, haven't you heard? Von Hustler's scheme has ruined our rival. You've kept us out the nastiest scandal since records began. We don't want your apologies, we are offering ours.
Oh my word.
And another thing. Do you remember giving a loan to a fellow called Northbrook? Well, he's opened up 2 new factories, and with the percentage he negotiated, we look set to make a fortune.
Oh my word.
Well, that's just it. We'd hope you'd give us the word. Tell us how it happened.
Give you the word. I'll give you the word, all right? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You know, sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, will always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Oh, sir, thank you.
Now, Banks.
Forgive him. It's not his fault. It's all because of his nanny, Miss Andrew.
Miss Andrew, the Holy Terror. She taught me everything I know.
Then now's your chance to forget it.
That's right. And if you want to fight about it, then you've come to
Darling. I haven't lost any money at all. I've made them a fortune.
Really?
Madam, if you please, we still have business to conduct. Well, Banks, George, in way of recompense, we'd like to offer you the job of senior manager with a salary at double.
Exactly how much has he made for you?
Triple. Quadruple your present rate.
Close your mouth, George. We are not a codfish.
Well?
I accept. But you must understand one thing. From now on, my family comes first.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Winifred, I'm afraid I've underestimated you. How can you forgive me?
How can you ask?
It was cruel of me to keep you off the stage. You'll want to go back, and I won't mind if you do.
No. I loved it, but I found a role I'd rather prefer, and it's going to keep me extremely busy for a very long time.
Anything can happen, raise the curtain. Things you thought impossible will
Soon seem certain, though at first it may sound clownish. See the world more upside downish.
turn it on its head, then pirouette it.
Anything can happen if you let it.